I want to talk about the idea of sustainable service, and a really helpful framework if we were in a room and I could doodle and you could see what I was drawing. You know how people talk about a be, do, and have list? So, in one of the many trainings that I've done with Dr. John Demartini, the way he drew it out, because one of the core tenets of his work is talking about, both sides, how we have all the parts and pieces, every single person. You're not going to be kind and never cruel, or look, beautiful and never frumpy, or whatever your polar opposites may be. It's all of it. That's who we are. And so likewise with be, do, and have, it's about owning and I'm not using this in terms of psychiatric diagnoses or anything, but narcissistic and altruistic is a spectrum. So if you were to see a chart, narcissistic would be up at the top left, and that's the having. And then the being would be in the middle. And then the bottom right would be the doing, which would be the altruistic side of us, where we want to give. So, or do. So the narcissist in us wants to have, and the altruist in us wants to do and give and serve. And when we can find a way to integrate both of those parts of us, that's when we are being, that's when we're authentic, that's when it's sustainable service, that's when we're in true fair exchange, because by giving we are receiving, by receiving we are giving, and then you can see how it just swirls into a beautiful vortex of alignment where you're owning both parts of you. Because you can't only have, that's not going to feel fulfilling if you're just sitting there and consuming in life. And then likewise, you're not going to feel fulfilled. You'll be burnt out. Well, you'll be bored, honestly. You'll be bored. You want to engage. You want to serve. You want to support. You want to interact with people. You want to contribute. You want the world to know that you are here. So you would be bored if you always sat in the having. And you would be burned out if you always sat in the doing. And you're like, I'm here to serve, servant's heart, and so many of us who grew up with various religious backgrounds have this conditioning where it's it's bad to want to have. So we just feel like we're supposed to just deny any and all of our desires and just want to do and serve and blah, blah, blah. But again, that's not sustainable. Mathematically, it's not sustainable. It's like saying you're never going to eat. No, sometimes you need to eat. Sometimes you need to move and sometimes you need to eat. And you're at your most energized and efficient when you have a good balance of both, creating and consuming, giving and receiving. So I'm thinking about this in terms of offerings that we make with our businesses, because for me, I'm just now stepping back out into business. I've just been serving a handful of clients each year, just kind of very quietly behind the scenes, but I haven't been doing any much online marketing or anything like that, or a big group thing. And so big is a relative term. It's still going to be a very cozy group this trimester of awesome. But I'm thinking about sustainable service for me. It's I don't have to depend on how other people are reacting to my work, because I can see how I'm receiving by giving it. I see, for example, in this free podcast right now, I don't know how long I'm going to keep the episodes up. This is true experiment. I don't know how long I'm going to keep all these episodes up. I could make them disappear after 30 days. I could decide later on down the line, that was a fun experiment. And now I want to charge a certain amount. I can change my mind. But for right now, it feels beautiful to just have this as a way to connect and share my thoughts with you in the most organic form that I can manage through the internet. And just by sitting here on the circle rug in my closet, I call it circle time. This is where I record a lot of audios for my clients too. I'm receiving. I feel energized. I feel alive just by sharing these thoughts with you. Whether you actually take the step to let me know you're listening, or if something resonated or made you think about something differently, that's up to you. And I greatly appreciate it if and when you do take that step to actually engage with me. It means a lot. But my air quotes reward from this behavior of recording this message is not dependent on your reaction. And that feels so efficient, but also attractive, doesn't it? It's like not being needy in a relationship, but being a whole person. I'm all over the place, and this could actually be multiple messages, but let me see if it makes sense to share my birthday party analogy with you. Yeah. Okay. Let's go there. Let's make this the birthday party energy episode, because I'm thinking about with my 6-year-old for his last birthday party when he was in kindergarten. We invited the whole class, as you do. And I emailed the parents a few times because his birthday's over the holiday break. So I sent a flyer home on the last day. I emailed them once before the holidays, and then once when we were a week out from RSVP, and then like, okay, last call basically. And as I was doing it, I was like, this feels so fun. This is so easy, air quotes, email marketing, because I know this party's going to be great. We're going to have a great time. No matter who decides to come or not, like, we're having a party. He's going to love it. Like, we're having this party. It doesn't matter how many people come. I feel like, if they miss it, but if they have something else they'd rather do, of course, that's their choice and la, la, la. But they're missing a great time over here. Like, we're going to keep on. And it's like, that's the energy that you want to have with your offers, whether they're free, paid. I guess that's it, right? There's not really an in-between, a free or paid. Where it's like you're a whole person, and you know that I'm committed to doing this. Like, this party is happening no matter what. So if you want to join, cool. I think you'll have a great time. I know we will. And if you don't, that's okay. I hope you have a great time doing whatever else you're going to do, and we'll have this party over here. And it's funny because one of his friends that actually we became great friends with over the course of the year, she was like, I actually, at the party, she said, I really loved reading your emails. Like, she doesn't, or at the time didn't know anything about me or my business or anything. So I was like, thank you so much. She was like, yeah, I was like telling my husband, I actually like reading this mom's emails about the birthday party. Like, this is weird. And I said, thank you. That means so much to me. I can kind of write emails professionally, as a matter of fact. But it's that big birthday party energy that I want to go sprinkle around as I add things back onto my business plate. It's like, I only want to do things that I know I'm enjoying, regardless of your, air quotes, you, but not necessarily you, but like the collective group of people that I'm talking to, regardless of their response. And that feels good. That feels different, because that's not always how it was back in the day. Whenever I started playing with Facebook ads. I say playing, I was spending several $1,000s. Like, that's what playing was back in 2014 or 15. And I had the cheat sheet, and we were bringing in, like, my list exploded or tripled or whatever, but not that many people were buying. And I started to feel resentful. Like, you're just using me for my cheat sheet. Like, this is so awkward. All these people all of a sudden, where I had been growing organically to that point, and then we're dangling this cheat sheet out there. And I had this hook, like this energetic hook and attachment and expectation. Like, I'm paying all this money to do Facebook ads, to grow my list so that I can scale my online course and live the online dream, right? And I started to feel resentful and weird about emailing people on my email list. And I'm like, it just felt so transactional all of a sudden. And what I can see now is, well, yeah, of course I felt that way about my, air quotes, them, about the email list. They're using me for my cheat sheet, because the inverse was that I was trying to use them for sales for my online course. Like, it was very transactional, needs based, as opposed to, again, sustainable service, where I know I'm getting my needs met. I feel inspired by what I'm doing. I'm giving from a place of, air quotes, generosity, knowing that I'm getting a benefit just from sharing, just from the sheer expression of it all. So I'm not to say that you can't do Facebook ads with this philosophy of sustainable service. You absolutely can. But also, you could spend a lot of money, and there's going to be some level of attachment there. I'm just using that as an example to say it's not like I've always had this train of thought or perspective, but now I do, and it's helpful, and it feels fun, and it feels good and clean, where it's like, I just want to offer things that I know I want to offer, whether it's 1 people or 100 people, 5 or 50. This is a party, and it's happening, and it's going to be a great time. It's going to be transformational for those who choose to opt into it, and for those who don't, that's okay, because we're still going to have a great time. And I trust that whoever it really resonates with is going to hear and feel that, as long as I keep showing up and letting people know about it. So anyway, that's what I'm thinking about over here. Just the energetic expectations and releasing other people from having to respond in a certain way. And whether that's giving something out freely and expecting people to express their gratitude, it's just like you pass it over and you say it's free, and then you have your hand like, I'm waiting. And they didn't ever step into that agreement, you know? So then you're just setting yourself up for resentment, and that's going to be reflected back to you because you're feeling that. So they're literally just reflecting that weirdness back to you, like, dude. So yeah, that's my reflection. Giving and receiving. How cool would it be if you could actually complete the circuit within yourself, and then your own self-sustaining generator, where you know that when you're giving, you're also receiving, and whatever you're giving is a gift just as much to you as it is to the people who could benefit from it. And then you don't have to have the weird attachment, because you can trust yourself to get your needs met by honoring that inspiration and offering something that feels truly like a reward in itself. All right, let me know if that made any sense to you, because it makes sense to me. And it's a conversation I'd love to explore. And one thing I don't think I said was around the idea of giving. You know how lots of personal finance people say, don't loan money to friends and family, just like, especially if you couldn't afford to emotionally, energetically, or financially to just give it, then don't loan it, because chances are high they're not going to pay you back. And then stuff gets weird if you get resentful, blah, blah, blah. And so I feel like it's kind of that way too. If you can't freely give it, and by freely, I don't mean literally freely, because it could also be for whatever your price is, whatever your rate is. If you don't feel in true fair exchange for that, then don't do it. You know, if you're going to have like a hook in the person where you're like waiting for something else, then rethink it, reprice it, reorganize it in a way until you do feel like, yes, this feels like a beautiful fair exchange. This is the birthday party. This is what's happening. You want it or you don't. It's cool either way, because I feel clean and clear that this is a win-win for the right person. Okay, I'm done. Let me know your thoughts. Okay, technically that was the end of the episode, but since you're still here, one, I'd love to thank you for spending part of your day with me, and two, I'd love to ask you if you would take 30 seconds, maybe 60, to leave a rating and review in your podcast app before you tap out today. If you've already done that, it's amazing. Please send me a screenshot so I can thank you personally, and know that sharing this episode with a friend has the same magical powers, and I deeply appreciate both. Also, in case you're listening to the end to see if I ever actually introduce myself, hi! My name is Nikki Elledge Brown. I'm the host and author of Naptime Empires and this here On Her Terms podcast. You can find me around the internet at Nikki Elledge Brown in most places, but what you may appreciate most is actually over at onherterms.com. It's what I call the insider library. It's where you can get inside scoop, first listen rights, email updates every time there's a new episode, and then special insider only bonus content. It's all over in our private feed. Okay, that's a wrap for real. I'll meet you in the next episode.